Hi everyone, my name is Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also over on Instagram as well. This is the 4th of July, it's the Sunday morning briefing. Happy 4th of July to everyone, happy Independence Day to those of you in America. It's been another long week here. Basically at work, my lab is getting, well, nothing's actually happening to my lab, but the corridor outside my lab is having a lot of work done on it. The heating system at school has been playing up for a little while. It's quite elderly and so needs replacing. So they are actually shutting down quite a bit of the science department 2 weeks early. So that means we've had to clear our labs. We've had to take out everything we might need for the next couple of weeks. And we're going to be teaching here, there and everywhere all around the school. So that's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. But then it's the summer holidays, yay! So I think I can put up with that. Just a couple of little shout outs before I get started. First of all, to my friend on Instagram, Stitchy Sally, who has actually started a FlossTube. Now I think she's on about programme 3 already, and I've meant to talk about it ever since she did her first FlossTube, and I haven't. I keep forgetting. Every time I've literally turned the camera off and I've gone, Sally. And so yeah, I'm going to link her down below, but if you can get over and watch her, she's done some fantastic projects. It's really, really lovely to watch, and I'm so pleased that she's decided to join the FlossTube community. And my other shout out goes to Amanda, who is Alba Stitcher, who has been doing her own stunts again and has ended up with a little bit of a, well, quite a bit of an accident, I think, from what I've read on Instagram. It looks like she's back home now, and hopefully she's going to be doing well and having lots and lots of stitchy time. I've quite often thought to myself during really busy times, oh, what I wouldn't give for 6 weeks with my feet up. But I think an accident that involves an operation with pins and plates is more than I would do. I've got lots and lots to share with you today. I have got 3 finishes. I know, don't ask me where they came from. I've got something to show you that I finished last year, but a couple of people have asked me about it because it usually is on this wall up here, so sometimes you can see it a little bit more than others. So I'll show you that. I've got some lovely haul, although it's not the haul I mentioned at the end of last week's programme. The haul I mentioned at the end of last week's programme I'm still keeping under my hat, just in case my idea doesn't work, but it was apparently delivered by Yodel on Friday. And I phoned the company and I said, oh, I haven't had my parcel. And so they showed me the signature thing from Yodel, not the signature, but they showed me the docket from Yodel to say that it had been delivered to my front porch. I was like, that's lovely. I haven't got a front porch. So they've slung it in somebody's house between here and Cardiff, and we wait to see where it is. I said, perhaps you could send me a photograph of where they've put it and I might recognise it. And they're like, no, we don't take pictures. So it's relying on the driver to remember where he's put it and maybe be able to go and retrieve it. Otherwise I'll have to wait for another batch. But anyway, I've also got a freebie, which is a bit of an interesting freebie as well. And I've got my pick of some of the charts that have come out in the new Halloween special from Just Cross Stitch, which if you've got Readly, you can actually get for free. But if you search Just Cross Stitch, it won't come up. You have to search for Just Cross Stitch specials and you'll find it there. So let's get on. So firstly, this is a finish of mine from a very long time ago. Well, I say a very long time ago, I actually finished it off last year, finished the stitching and made it. But as you can see, I'd put 2019 on it in a fit of pique, thinking I was going to have it finished, and I wouldn't unpicking it. So I think I started it in 2018, or possibly even 2017, and I finished it and made it up last year. So this hanger I got from Etsy, and it's stitched on 28 count Whisper Grey with the called for threads, which I would imagine were DMC threads. Can't remember. And then I just made it into a little wall hanging. And I was really pleased with it. This is my first time ever stitching on even weave, and it took me quite a long time. I had a go at it and I got quite far with it, and then I put it down and I stuck with even weave and linen. I have to say, once I had moved from Ada to even weave and linen, I didn't swap back again. But this project, I started it and then left it for quite a long time, hence why the big difference in dates. But there we are, it's all done now. So on to my other finishes. What have I finished? Well, one of them, if you follow me on Instagram, you will have already seen, and it was a stitch along by Barbara Anna through Creative Poppy. The stitch along's finished now, probably quite some time ago. I think she's 2 further stitch alongs on than this one, but she has been releasing them pretty thick and fast. But it's available as a chart now, so you can get it as a download from Creative Poppy, but I've also seen the hard copy charts available in the shops. So there she is. It's my Garden of Dreams by Barbara Anna. And it's stitched on a piece of 32 count Poltergeist by Silk Weaver, which has got a bit of a purple look to it. And I used the Cool for colours except the green, which is a Victorian motto, the bright turquoise, which is a Silks for You, and I think the mustardy yellow is also a Victorian motto, but they're within the colour palette, so it's nothing different, and I'm really super pleased with that. And I think I'm going to finish it into a pillow. I wasn't sure about whether to get an oval hoop for it, but I think I'm going to finish it into a pillow, because as I said, I had dyed a piece of velvet for it. Now this is my piece of velvet that I've dyed. Now it's shining, it's quite reflective, so let's see if I can hold it up so that you can see somewhere. Yeah, that's not too bad. So it's a piece of turquoise, well, it's a piece of white velvet that I've dyed turquoise, and I used the same method as I did in the video that I've done for using these paints, because I actually used the Dynaflow paints, and I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out, because that's what I wanted. I wanted a sort of a mottled back done in a similar way to you would do a front. And so let's see if I can show you. So yeah, that's going to be the front, and then on the back there's going to be the turquoise velvet. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I do want to do an oval hoop finish at some point, but I just don't think that was it. My other finish was a start and finish. So I was, after the video last week, I was sitting there thinking, I show all these freebies and I've not always stitched them. So this little hands-on design farm fresh freebie that I showed you last week, I stitched it up. There we go. It took an evening and a tiny bit, a late evening and a tiny bit. So I probably didn't start it till about 9:30, and then just finished it off the following day. So there it is. And I actually went, one of the charity shops in Cardigan is closing down, and they're having a sale. And so I thought, well, I'll go and have a look. And I managed to pick up 3 men's shirts, all really, really nice finishing fabrics. I think it cost me £4.20. So nice cotton finishing fabrics out of men's shirts. Lovely. So yeah, I've got a blue check to put on the back of that one to make into just a little pillow. And then my last finish was something that I started during Mania, and it was this one, which gets a lot of love every time I show it, and it's by Sheepish Designs, and it's called the Hedgehog Sampler, designed by Dawn Bradford. Quite a rare beast, this one. And here's my finish. I stitched it on 32 count summer khaki, which I think is actually the Cool For. You might remember that I started it, yeah, it is. I started it on a much, much darker linen, and I just really wasn't happy with it, so I swapped it out for the paler linen. There we go. And it's really diddy. it's not 6 inches, it's not 6 inches square, and it's really diddy. Now, I sort of fall in and out of love with this one. I love it, but then in my mind, sometimes I think it looks a bit like a baby sampler, because I think because it's the pastel colours, and pastel colours aren't normally my bag. And I think if I were to do it again, I would switch them out for autumnal colours. I think I would switch them out for autumnal colours. And I may even stitch it again in the future and do that, because I do love it. And it's got a little bit of fancy stitch on it, so it's got a raised chain stitch, a buttonhole bar, a long arm cross stitch, some over one, French knots, and it's supposed to have a queen stitch on it. Now, I've never done a queen stitch, and I've still never done a queen stitch because I jibbed out, and I just did mine as, instead of Smyrna crosses, I did them as Smyrna diamonds. So that's something that I need to practice, I think, the queen stitch. And it's got satin stitch as well in the border and in the bottom of the grass. So I'm really pleased with that. I think I might just get a little frame for that one. I was torn with what to put in the middle there, and in the end I went for my initials. Somebody had suggested, which was a great suggestion actually, to put Drainog in it, which is the Welsh for hedgehog, but I couldn't quite get it to fit and look right on it. I suppose I could always put it at the bottom, but I just put my initials. There we are. So those are my finishes, and I have done a couple of little other bits and bobs. Ooh, excuse me, reaching. So I showed you this last week, which was my new camp project. So the Barbara Anna was my June camp project, and I didn't quite get her finished just in time. I was later than the 30th of June finishing her, but never mind, it doesn't matter. I'm allowed to stay at camp, which is good. So as I think I said to you last week, I always imagine cross-stitch camp a bit like Kellerman's. Well, this week it's been kind of imagining it a bit more like Heidi High. I don't know if that'll mean much to any of you outside the UK, but Heidi High, Sue Pollard, Paul McShane, Heidi High. So yeah, this is my new to me designer. This is by Cherie Williams on Etsy, and this is called Blackbird. Now I'm stitching it on 32 count vintage country mocha. I was going to go for something different, and then I realised that there are other patterns in the series, and so I might need more fabric because there are other patterns in the series. So I have got this honking great piece of vintage country mocha. It was actually my start for Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow before I cut out the first block, made it into a pillow and gave up on it because it was going to be like a bed sheet. So I only started this afternoon, and it's really not that big, but it is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So for those of you who don't know, that I do stitch in hand, so the things that I've finished have been ironed, the things that I'm stitching are crumpled. So there we go. So there's not actually that much more to do, really. I've got the bird in, got a few more little berries there, and just really this branch. So I could even get a finish for that before the weekend, which is quite good because I do want to do another Barbara Anna. I do want to do the Strawberry Time bird. So I'm going to set up a little extra room at camp for extra Barbara Anna patterns. And then, talking to Barbara Anna patterns, I did the Dreaming Girl cell. And when I say I did the Dreaming Girl cell, I mean I started the Dreaming Girl cell. And I decided to make her grey-haired, like myself, and then I got a bit stuck, and I just stopped. But I picked her up, and I've started on her again. So for those of you who haven't seen it, the pattern is a 4 seasons type pattern, where there's spring elements here, summer elements along the top, whoops, autumn elements down here and some winter down here. So I'm trying to pick my colours to do that. And this is a piece of XDU Designs that I bought in a D-stash, and it seems to have picked up a bit of a faded line somehow down the middle, but it wasn't there before. I don't know quite what I've done to the fabric or what, but I think there's going to be enough stitching down here so that you won't really notice it. But there, now I've started stitching on her again, I'm quite into her. She's beautiful. And I know how I'm going to finish that one as well. So I tend to find when I know how I'm going to finish it, it makes a big difference in terms of spurring me on. And I know how I'm going to finish the next one as well. This is my Blackbird Weekend Sal project that I started with Nikki Noodle, and we both started on the first Blackbird weekend, which was I think the first one in May. So this was also a Mania start for me. Agnes Platt. So we're both doing the bee skep. Now I'm not sure if she's finished hers actually. I have to admit I have been terrible at watching FlossTube recently. Mainly because I got into watching some silly channel about what people find in storage lockers. Talk about useless. However, I have found that watching somebody unpacking boxes of random rubbish has really helped me clean out my lab. Because it's just like, right, chuck that away, chuck that away, chuck that away. So there's that. And I'm using the Cool 4 colours on a piece of 36 count pale parchment that came from Victoria Motto. So, don't know. I don't get their stuff anymore. I'm sure you have all heard the issues that were going on. So there is where I am, complete with a random bit of thread. Now this top star here actually calls for a blend. So because I'm doing one strand on 36 count, I did the bottom stitches all in one colour, and now I'm just going over and doing the top stitch in a different colour. And actually I found it really hard to sew because I normally do full crosses through the sewing method, and so actually trying to do just one leg of a cross was really hard. And I know how I'm going to finish this one as well. The plan is to put it into the bottom of a tray, and then to make the tray will be longer than this, and in the bit of fabric that's spare at the end I'm going to make the little pin cushion and sit that in the tray as well. That's the plan anyway. That's the plan. Right, that is everything I've stitched on this week, and that's not too bad. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, pics from the Just Cross Stitch Halloween edition. So as I said at the start, if you've got Readly, then you get access to the special editions for free as well. Or it's included within your subscription. It's not free, obviously, you pay a monthly subscription, but they are included. So type in your search bar, Just Cross Stitch Specials. Right, these are the ones that I really like. So some of them I'm going to have to just fold in half because they are single pages. So this is a really cute one from Wild Violet Cross Stitch, Ryan Mack. And it's just a little sloth hanging onto a broomstick, dressed as a witch. I'm not sure there's much more you could want in the world. I love it. And I love it on that colour fabric as well, actually. So that was my first one. This one I really like. And I really like it because you can see the fabric. I like the way that they've left a good amount of the fabric showing so that you can see the Picture This Plus Murky. Now, whether Picture This Plus Murky will ever appear in the UK ever again, I don't know. But we might be able to dye something similar. And this is by, am I right? Yes, Autumn Lane Stitchery. So, yeah, loved that one. What else did I pick out? This little one. Now I can never say this designer. I'm going to have another go. Panochka. Perhaps if you know how to say that, if you can send me phonetically in the comments how I say that, that would be fantastic. I really like that one. The little witch with the pumpkin carriage. And this one. Sorry, I should have done my folding before I sat down. This is A Day of the Dead by Linda Medina. Again, super nice little stitch, nice little ornament. And then this one by Amy Barker of Barefoot Needle Art, Nightmare Before Coffee. And again, I really like this one because of the shape of the finishing, that hexagon shape. The design isn't. The designs would pretty much fit into a square, but I just like what they've done with it in the finishing. Makes it look super fun. And, oh, what have I just thrown on the floor? Three more. This one by our favourite Stephanie from Lindy Stitches. This is the Broomstick Brigade. Love them. And then two more. This one I really like. Have a Pawsome Halloween by, let me just get the right ones, Frosted Pumpkin, of course it is, Frosted Pumpkin. Now, I'm not entirely sure I would do the border. I think I would just do the little cat in the pumpkin. Cute. And this one by the Witchy Stitcher. Now, can we just talk about the Witchy Stitcher for a minute? She has just released the details for her new stitch along. And it starts, well, the border's released on August the 1st. And then part works after that, I think starting in September the 1st, and it's cryptids. It literally had my name written all over it. I could not sign up for it fast enough. It's got Loch Ness Monster on it. Now my daughter's called Ness, and we quite often call her Nessie, Loch Ness, something like that. It's got Bigfoot on it, Sasquatch, which is her other nickname, Sasquatch, Squatch. And it's just got, oh, Mothman, all the amazing cryptids that, so if you've not seen that yet, I'll link it down below. Go and have a look. I think it cost me, she's in Canada, so it's in Canadian dollars, so the UK's got a really good exchange rate against Canadian dollars at the moment. I think it cost me about £13 for the whole thing. So yeah, oh, I couldn't sign up for it fast enough. I was so excited, so excited. Okay, and then that brings me to haul, and haul will go into freebie. So I'll tell you my my freebie after I've done my first bit of haul. And the first bit of haul is something pretty amazing. Again, if you've seen on Instagram, you will have seen that I bought this book. And it's called The Needlework Collection 2. It's by Michael and Elizabeth Feller. Now this is the second book, as you might imagine. There is a Needlework Collection 1. The difference between the two is the time span of the needlework that's looked at. So this one sort of has needlework from sort of 1800s on, really. There may be the odd bit from late 1700s, but I think most of it is 1800s on. And it's basically the story of samplers, okay? Now, I don't know if I said the first book is 1700s and before, so that's where the split is, about 1800. It's basically the story of samplers, different kinds of samplers. And it's not a story as in really they're telling you the history of samplers, but what they are doing in this fabulous book is just showing you page after page of gorgeous samplers and telling you about the stitcher and about the symbolism that's in there and the motifs that are used, the different types of styles, the Aqua samplers, the Bristol samplers. It's absolutely phenomenal, and the photography is so good that if there was, and some of the motifs are actually enlarged, so if there was a little motif that you wanted to do just as a little scissor fob or a pin keep or something like that, you could find a picture of it and you could sort of take inspiration from it. Obviously you're not going to go and chart these, that would just be ridiculous, but there's the odd little thing that you could definitely take inspiration from. There is, I like this one, that one there is Margaret Burt, and the reason that I like Margaret Burt is because she's very similar to Anne Grimshaw. I have Anne Grimshaw in my stash, I just haven't got around to stitching it. Now this book, if you can find it, is expensive. I've seen it on sale for nearly £200, over £300, £150. I bought mine for £50, including UK delivery, still in the cellophane wrapper. And I bought mine from Erna Hiscock. Now, I messaged Erna when my book came through to say how delighted I was with it and to ask did she have any more, because I know that if I showed this, other people would be asking where did I get it from and blah, blah, blah. And they do. They have got others, because what she did was she bought, I think a while ago, the remaining stock from the writers. So if you message her, I'll put her email address down below. She does have a Facebook account, she does have an Instagram account as well, and you could maybe use the messaging service on there. If you're interested, and I don't know how many she has, drop her a message and see if you can get yourself a copy. And the other thing is that inside the dust jacket, I'll try not to show you too much, there is a chart. And actually, if you open up the dust jacket fully, there's another chart. So 2 charts in this book. I haven't gone through every single sampler, so I don't know whether other ones in this book have been charted or not. But certainly, if you look through the Bristol samplers, you will see beautiful ones, and you'll definitely be able to find similar ones that have been charted, even if you can't find exactly the same one. Oh, it's an absolute feast for the eyes. Which brings me on to my freebie. Now, my freebie actually comes from the Victoria and Albert Museum. If you are interested at all in samplers and the history of the samplers, they have got a really good section on their website all about sampler history. And definitely, if you can, look at it on a big screen, because the photography is it's amazing. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, they have got an option for you to download some charts based on Mexican samplers. And I thought they were quite fun. Now the chart isn't brilliant, it's a hand-drawn chart, but it's definitely workable. And it shows you about how to make up a little bag using the chart, but you could definitely put the sampler or the motifs to use on anything. You don't have to make a bag, you can make little pillows, you can make a little fob, whatever you want. So you've got a little stitch guide there, and then this is what the chart looks like. So as I said, it is hand drawn, and you've got a guide at the back for how to do some of the fancy stitches as well. And so you can download that. I particularly like that motif there. Now actually with this one there's not much cross stitching it at all. It's all satin stitch, but I particularly like that. I think that would make a lovely little pillow. So something a little bit different for today. Go on and check it out, even if you just want to read through the V&A's information about samplers and have a look and see the samplers that they have got. I can't wait to go to the V&A again. I love the V&A. Another bit of haul. I managed to get my hands on this one. This one I bought from Arts and Designs in Scotland. And they're really good. If you want to buy any charts from them, they do free postage. If it's just charts. If you add other things, fabric and threads and things like that, it's not free postage. But just for chart, it's free postage. So this is, and be kind to one another, this is the companion piece to In All Things Be Exceedingly Diligent, which I have started as part of one of my Mania pieces there. So there's In All Things Be Exceedingly Diligent, and then there is the other one framed up. So this is by the Needlework press. So there we go. And now I'm just looking behind me just to see if I've got anything within easy reach for my last bit of haul. No, you might have to just imagine. I have a bit of a thing for treen. And treen is the name given to sort of small items of woodenware. And I like them especially if they're stitchy related. So the things like bobbins that are hanging around the place, and the shuttle, which wouldn't technically be treen, but thimble cases, needle cases, things like that. And this popped up on eBay and I just thought it was gorgeous. Now, it's not stitchy related, but it is related to crafts. And it's this. It is a wool winder. Now, it's in brilliant condition, except for one of the pins has been replaced by a little bit of wire, hence why this one wants to fall out. It's made of walnut. Let's just turn that around. It's made of walnut. Now, the question, why on earth did I want this? Because when you, it's easier actually just to pull these out to get it to go, there we go. When you pull it out like that, I think you've got fabulous places to hang little pillows. And I really want to do some more hanging pillows. I was just actually looking to see if I had any hanging pillows within reach, and I do, but they're quite big ones. So I wanted this for hanging the sort of smaller hanging pillows, and actually the one that I'm doing for camp this month, I'm going to make that into a hanging pillow. And the other thing I thought is, if it didn't work for that, what I would do is I would just close the back two in and have the front two open, and then I could rest a piece of stitching there, a laced up piece of stitching or a piece of stitching in a frame. But it's so tactile. Just look at the actual mechanism and the craftsmanship on that. There we go. And so it does open quite far, but obviously, whoo, actually disappears behind it. If you wanted to have that out, you'd have to have a pretty big spot to have it. But because it's a little bit more forgiving, I can put the back two in a little bit further than the front two if I want to. But it just mixes out like that. And to me, that was an absolute bargain. 30 quid. 30 quid. I think that's great. So that is it from me. Sort of a quick whistle stop tour this evening. It feels like it's been quick. I don't know if it has. We'll see when we get to the end. But I hope you have a lovely stitchy week. We'll be 1 week closer to the summer holidays, which for me as a teacher is marvellous. For all the parents out there probably thinking, it's stop talking about it, stop mentioning it, we don't want to know quite yet. But I will see you next week. Stay classy, Stitchers.